Hello, this is Richard Jacobs from Speakeasy Marketing. Today I'm going to talk about what Google wants, almighty Google, and why should you care as an attorney. Well, nowadays, end of 2014, Google controls about 80% of all searches. Yahoo and Bing now combine their results. Bing, which is Microsoft, essentially took over Yahoo's results. And if you combine those two, they're like 20% of all the searches you'll get, maybe even less. So they're really not a player anymore. It's Google for search. They're the big dog now. And what happens when companies become big is they get abusive. Just to be frank, Google calls the shots. Google makes billions and billions a year because of their search platform. So what they say goes. So you want to pay attention, or at least have your SEO company pay attention to what they're doing and keep in their good graces if you want to get any traffic from their search engine. So here's some insights I have, after working with many attorneys and speaking to, 10 times that amount that have had very traumatic experiences, losing all their traffic, and good experiences. Mostly traumatic because they don't contact me unless they're having a problem. If things are going good, they have no reason to contact me. Anyway, so what does Google want? Well, something a friend of mine told me has been really helpful is Google will never not value good content. Content meaning articles and information. That's the whole underpinning of Google itself. The reason why it's the number one search engine and it's so dominant is that the results it shows to people that search on it, people like you and me, are more relevant. They're more specific, and they're just better search results than Bing and Yahoo and Alta Vista and all those old search engines, So that's why they won the game and won the day, and that's why their lead is a stranglehold on search. So what Google wants is good quality content, because their job is to be a good search engine and to get people searching what they want and not have them see junk or have them see a bunch of ads that aren't relevant to them or any of that, okay? The genius of Google pay-per-click or Google AdWords is that ads show up based on the keyword that you type in. So if you're searching for purple polka-dotted socks, ads for purple polka-dotted socks show up. And if you think about it, it's funny, in the magazine industry, it was actually contrary. They didn't want you to have, let's say, an ad for a stereo system next to an article on stereos. They thought it was a conflict of interest, and it was unseemly to do that. And it's funny, Google does the opposite, but that's why they're so successful. That's where they make all their money. $20 billion a year plus is from those little clickable ads you see when you search on something. And I know what you're probably thinking. Oh, I never click on those ads. I don't know who does. Believe me, a lot of people do. Otherwise, they wouldn't make $20 billion plus a year on them. So a lot of people are clicking on those ads. If you notice, those ads are getting closer and closer to the regular results, the non-paid results, the organic search it's called. And the color behind them is a very, very faint color difference from the other part of the search engine. So what they're trying to do is they're trying to make it look all seamless. And the ads are now on the top and on the right side. And they're slowly pushing down and out the organic search results. Google can't just be a pure paid search engine. It just looks bad for them politically. So that's why they still have those organic free results. But believe me, they're trying to minimize them. Anyway, back to what Google wants. I'm rambling here. So Google wants unique, relevant, useful, interesting content on your website, and they want it on a regular basis. And if you don't do that, if you don't provide them unique content, or if you stuff it with keywords, such as if you're arrested in Los Angeles for a DUI, you should hire an experienced DUI lawyer in Los Angeles to win your Los Angeles DUI case. If you write gobbledygook like that, you're just not going to get very far nowadays, because there's other people, your competition, that are writing good articles. I'll give you an example. They address topics such as, again, within DUI. Here's all the reasons I see that people are incorrectly marked as refusing a breath test. 1 is they're hyperventilating or they throw up. 2, they don't understand the implied consent read to them. 3, Articles like that are far more relevant to people, far more interesting, and far more readable than repeating the same few keywords over and over and over. And the reason why Google wants this, again, as I've said, is they want to show the best information to people right away when they click. And you got to remember, every time someone searches in Google, Google is the judge. They have all these websites at their feet, thousands of them. Who am I going to show first on the page for this search result? Who am I going to show second and third? And who am I going to show on page 500 because their site sucks? So this is the main reason you want to have good quality content on your site. Now you want to add it on a regular basis. Again, why? Well, Google wants to see that your site is changing, it's being updated, it's being curated, it's being attended to. So a site that has the same content on it for a year, that's growing cobwebs and hasn't changed, it's going to fall in the rankings. It's just not going to be shown nearly as much because there's other sites that are updating and growing and building and have new stuff on them, and Google is going to prefer those. And that's the reason why. It just naturally makes sense. If you came over my house and I pulled out like a bag of pretzels and they were covered in dust and I went and gave you one and it was stale, you wouldn't want to come over my house anymore. Well, same thing with Google. If I give you a stale old website that has nothing new on it, you're not going to be happy. So, think about that. It makes total sense. Now, let's talk about links. What is a link? A link is a clickable, blue underlined, typically, piece of text that takes you from one site to another. So links pointing to your site from other relevant sources are very important. And Google wants those links. They tell you, don't go out and actively solicit them. Don't go pay people for them, but meritoriously earn them with your great content. Well, that's kind of hard to do. You do have to solicit your own links. But if you're going to do it, you want to get them from relevant places. So a link to your site as an attorney from a flower shop makes no sense. All right? A link from a directory could make sense if it's a legal directory. A link from China really makes no sense, and that's probably going to get you penalized. Or Russia, or Japan, or Korea. A link from a toy store makes no sense. A link from a non-competing attorney, that makes sense. Even a human reviewer would say, yeah, it makes sense. An attorney would link to another attorney. A link from a legal directory makes sense. Or let's say you got on ABC News or KQRX News Radio in your area, and they link to you. Well, that makes sense too. Maybe you commented on a local situation. So those kind of links make sense. They're relevant, and Google views those as votes of confidence in your site. Why would I link to you? I link to you because I believe your site is a good place for people to go visit and to engage with. That's why I link to you. That's what Google thinks. So they look for good quality links. And you don't need thousands of them. You just need, a small amount of good, relevant quality links. And if you get those, your site will start to do really well. What does well mean? Well means Google will say, all right, I'm going to show you for more keyword searches. Because you got content, you're updating it regularly, because you've got some quality links and good votes of confidence, aka good references, I'm going to show you to more of my searchers. I'm going to let your site be exposed to them by putting you at the top of page 1 for more keywords. That's why you get to the top of Google. That's why you get more visitors to your site. And that is what turns into more phone calls. We can go onwards from here. I'll just be very brief because this audio is getting long. But, Google also owns a bunch of other platforms. So they own Google+. So guess what happens if you start posting good content on Google+, once a week or once every 2 weeks? You get rewarded because Google owns that platform and they want people to get good information. Google owns YouTube. So guess what happens if you put YouTube videos up that answer legal questions and you act as a good resource to people searching? And you link those videos back to your site and you link those videos out on Google+, and it becomes part of your online presence. Well, guess what? You're going to get more searches and more calls. Because Google owns YouTube, those videos show up on YouTube, but they also show up in Google search results. I don't know if you noticed, but some keywords you search for, you'll see videos for. So that's the thing that I would do, is listen to what Google wants, do what it wants, bite the bullet and do it. You'll be rewarded with more business. If you don't do it, you try to scam them, you try to scheme them, you try to go black hat or spam them. They may find you, they may not. But if they do, they'll whack you. You'll wake up, no traffic, no business, the phone is dead, you're finished. Why do that? And I found if you do things in the right way, all these Google updates are not going to affect you. They don't really affect my customers at all. Panda, penguin, pigeon, all that. I don't fear the updates. I don't worry about them because I do what Google wants. It's a pretty simple formula. Once you get over the anger and the indignation of having to do what almighty Google wants, and you just do it, you realize there's actually a pretty good reason for it, and your site will prosper. So I hope that this somewhat long-winded talk helps you. If you want to engage and talk about your site, your business, and how to improve it, contact speakeasymarketinginc.com or call 888-225-8594. Thank you.